Welcome back, family. I'm Daniel, the male role model. So today I want to help you if you're experiencing depression, help you pick yourself up out of that depression, whether it's gone on for a couple days, couple weeks, or couple years. This is what I work with on my patients on a day-to-day basis. This is the technique and information that we give to them. It uses a CBT approach, cognitive behavioral therapy, and the treatment is called behavioral activation. But before we get into that, I want you to understand that there are different types of depression, not just in severity. Some people have mild experiences, some people have really severe experiences, but I want to talk about the cause, because the thing is, with depression, it can be caused by so many different things. It can be caused by a negative life experience, or it can be caused by a general sense of hopelessness or of overwhelm, or not feeling like we really fit in our social group, in our house, or just in this entire universe. Whatever it is, the cause is really important, because that's going to determine whether CBT, what I'm going to be talking to you about today, will actually address the problem that you have. So let me explain that. If your depression you found has stemmed from since a negative life experience has happened, although CBT may be able to help you, and it likely will be able to help you, what you need to know is that it will not address the cause of the problem, it will address the problem. There can be loads of different negative experiences in life. Whatever that is, typically your reaction to that is what's leading to depression. So what I'm going to teach you is going to help you with that depression, but it may not address the cause of that problem. For that, you would probably need counseling. You may need to address some feelings in relation to the problem that you originally experienced. But for the large majority of people, regardless of that original cause, with the actual depressive symptoms, we see a lot of the same things. In fact, I've actually had similar symptoms. I remember I just started randomly feeling tired. My sleep was awful. I didn't have energy to do anything I wanted. It just felt like too much effort. And at that point, life, it can just become a drag. But for me, the cause was not a negative life event. It was a buildup of different things. I just had too many things to do, and I was thinking about things all the time. No wonder I couldn't sleep properly. And when you can't sleep properly, you feel tired. And when you feel tired, you have no energy to do the things that you actually want. You just can't be bothered. I didn't have the energy to be positive. I felt low, like all the time. How do you explain that to someone? I just feel awful when they go, deal with it, you know? It doesn't really help. And I actually had to take 2 weeks off work until I felt better. I needed 2 weeks so I could just focus on me and not have the distractions of everything going on in life, all the pressure of everything going on in life that I needed to go right. So that helped me. But what we teach with CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is that our thoughts, our feelings in terms of physical symptoms, and our behaviors is what really maintains that problem. So just using that example, think of the physical symptoms that you experience. Some people get headaches. I was getting stomach aches. Some people feel tired. You feel down a lot. Some people, you just start crying for no reason. It's depression. You feel sad. This is a mental health problem. That's why it's got a suitable name. So you often notice those things first. And as a result, you have thoughts like, why am I feeling like this? Why can't I deal with this situation? Or maybe it's from a negative event. I can't believe this has happened. Nothing is going my way. Everything is against me in the world. These are troubling thoughts to deal with. And if you're thinking them all the time, or just consistently and regularly throughout the day, how is that going to make you feel overall at the end of the day if you just think nothing has gone well today and you've been having those thoughts for weeks, for months, for years? It can get difficult. But what the key is the way that we change our behavior as a result of our difficulties. Me, for example, I tried my best to stay on top of the basic things. I still did my minimum workout, just the minimum. I wasn't happy about it. I never felt good afterwards, but I still did it. I still took care of my hygiene. I still showered. I still ate well. I still went to work, but obviously I had to take that time off to relax. I did the minimum things I needed for my life to go that way. But what a lot of people do is they sleep in late, they miss work, they stop doing all their fun activities. You've taken a lot of all the positive stuff that you used to do out of your life. And this maintains our problem, and it causes what we call a vicious cycle, and we just keep spiraling downwards. We have those physical symptoms, we have those thoughts, and we use maladaptive behavior to fix it. We think, I'm tired, sleep all the time, spiral down. Now what do we do that we sleep all the time? We still feel tired, and we don't have enough time to do things that we enjoy. We don't even have the energy to do the things that we enjoy. So it's never going to go well for us. So this is where CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, and the actual name of the treatment, behavioral activation, comes in. So with CBT, we try to address those behaviors, identify what's going on, in your life? What behaviors have you started doing as a result of the way you've been feeling? You've been sleeping in a lot. You're not talking to people because you don't feel sociable. You're maybe not taking care of yourself as much as you should. Maybe you just don't even have time for yourself. These are all behaviors that we need to take control of. And CBT, what it aims to do is it aims to break that cycle by reversing those maladaptive, negative behaviors that we've implemented. Because by breaking that cycle, no longer will we continue to have those negative thoughts and negative feelings. It is difficult to do. I'm not going to say it's easy. It's difficult, but it is the process that is going to help you out of depression. And just as a quick side note, that's why counseling can also be helpful if you feel like a negative event is the cause. Talking to someone generally is going to help you. You don't necessarily need counseling, but by talking to someone, you get a better understanding of how you're feeling. And by having a better understanding of what's going on, you're able to deal with it better. You are able to come to terms with your thoughts and how you're feeling. And as a result, you just don't do those negative behaviors. But with CBT, we don't go into those thoughts. We don't try and change those thoughts. We try and focus on the behavior. Because as I said, by changing those behaviors, we see positive effects. So this is where behavioral activation comes in. What we teach with behavioral activation is to have a balance of 3 types of activities. Pleasurable activities, makes sense, things you enjoy. Routine activities, things that you do on a day-to-day basis that make your life more comfortable. And necessary activities, things that you need to do where if you don't do them, there's a negative consequence. So for me, pleasurable might be playing Xbox. That was one thing that really helped me. I think I have a video on my channel about playing Xbox saved my life, and it really did. Because what I had tried to do, I tried to become so productive and so perfect that I was never wasting any time. Everything I do was productive. I was coaching, I was working with people, I was working out, I was eating healthily. I never really did just let go. There are some activities in life where we just forget about time. Pay attention to those. Those are your pleasurable activities. They really rejuvenate you. You need to get some of those. Routine activities. These are things like going to bed at the right times, keeping your hygiene up, eating healthily. A lot of people, when you don't have the energy to cook, you get microwave food, you get shit food, you order food. Boom! I don't know where the weights come from. Or some people go the other direction. They lose weight, they stop eating because you just don't feel hungry. Depression has biological problems as well. It can interfere with signals in the brain that just stop you from even wanting to eat. If you're not releasing the right hormones, your body's not going to be hungry, or it's going to be too hungry. Like I said, people experience it differently. So those routine things, making sure that you're doing things to make your life more comfortable. The day-to-day activities, the cleaning, the cooking, the washing, you need to have some of those. These are things that just help your life progress and move forward. And the necessary activities. These are things where if you don't do them, then there's a negative consequence. Paying bills, fixing something that's broken, fixing a leak, fixing your car, paying your phone bill, repairing a laptop, fixing a light. I don't know what it would be for you, but for me, it was getting a car. One of the struggles that I had was I needed to travel from Lincoln to Birmingham regularly, and just playing that on my mind. I didn't have a car. I was like, okay, I need to get a car. I need to buy a car. I need to make sure I find the right car. I don't want to overpay. I was traveling all over the place trying to find the right car. It was way too much. And once I had that sorted, that was a load off my mind. So that is the balance. There's 4 conditions to good behavioral activation: effective treatment. That is the balance condition. The second condition is what we call graded. This is where you do not implement activities that are too difficult or overwhelming for you. If you are feeling depressed at the moment, doing almost anything can feel like too much. So if you put, my pleasurable activity is going on 10K runs. Maybe you used to like 10K runs, but if you haven't done it for weeks, months, or years, that is a hard thing to try on the first time, which means you might need to try a 1K run first. You might need to try a 5-minute run first. If normally you love going out and meeting loads of people and you haven't been out with anyone in a long time, after all, we've been through COVID, a lot of people haven't seen all their friends at the same time. It can be quite daunting going to see everyone. See a couple of people at a time, get used to it, build it up. And that'll be the same with routine and necessary activities. Don't try and fix everything in your house in one day. Don't try and clean everything in one day. Don't try and tidy everything in one day. Don't try and do some massive cook-a-thon or whatever it would be called, some massive cooking session in one day. Do a little bit at a time. The third rule is operating from an outside-in perspective. So when you're feeling down, when you're feeling depressed, you often operate from what we call inside out. So this is where how you feel dictates what you do. That never really works for life, because often the good feelings that you get from things come as a result of what you've done. If you don't feel like working out, and then you decide not to work out, at no point are you going to feel better that you haven't worked out. You're operating from inside out because you're letting how you feel be the decider. It's great that you feel great and you want to do loads, but sometimes you have to think, no, I'm going to do this because this is what's going to make me feel good. So you don't feel like working out, you don't feel like doing your run, you don't feel like doing the cleaning, tidying, necessary activities. It doesn't matter. If it's in your schedule, you do it. That way, afterwards, you can either get those positive feelings, or at the very least, you get the positive effects. So if you do a workout and you don't feel good afterwards, at least you've worked out. You're still taking steps forward. You're still making sure your life is moving forward and progressing. This is so key. Like I said, those negative behaviors, if you just stop everything, your whole life starts to fall out of balance because of one thing. And that actually brings me to something that I should have mentioned at the beginning. With depression, I try and explain it to clients by saying, we often don't notice it until everything's overflowing. If you imagine having a glass of water, a cup, whatever, if it's full to the brim, all it takes is one drop, one splash for it to overflow, and you don't notice it until it's too much. That's how depression works. It might be like the tiniest thing happened in life and suddenly everything seems to explode. Really, it's been a gradual build-up, but you don't notice it until your cup's overflowing. So it's not that you're not resilient. It's not that you aren't determined or you don't have what it takes. It's that over time, things have been building up and you just haven't noticed because you've been able to hold it down. You've had the threshold to deal with all the problems. But once it got one drop above that threshold, that's when you notice it. And now we're coming towards the end of this video, but we have the final and fourth condition. The final and fourth condition is very much to do with recovery. What a lot of people experience is that they start to feel good once they start putting positive activities back into their routine. And what happens when you feel good? I want to do more, I feel great. Now imagine recovering from injury, from a physical injury. You broke your leg. Now, back before you were injured, you used to be able to do backflips, you used to be able to go running, you used to be able to walk normally, but now you can't. If you immediately try and do all those things before you've recovered, you're going to injure yourself more. It is the same when recovering your mind. It might seem like we should be able to control our mind whenever we want, and maybe we should. I don't know anyone who can. Things still annoy people still get upset. But when your mind is in a place of recovery, although you may feel like you can do everything that you want, you may feel like you want to be your old self, you need to make sure you are taking gradual steps, because if you overdo it, if you try and do too much, you wake up the next day, you don't have energy and you think, fuck, I'm back where I started. I have no energy, I feel down. Now I've missed my workout, I feel worse. Now I haven't cleaned, I feel worse. Okay, avoid this. You are recovering. It takes time. Like I said, the depression doesn't appear in one day. It might feel like it does, but it's built up over time. And in the same way, your recovery is not going to be one activity and I feel great. It builds up over time. Take the time to let it build up. Take the time to experience the benefits. So hopefully I've done a good job of explaining behavioral activation. You need those three balance of activities, those routine activities to keep your life progressing, those necessary activities to make sure you avoid negative events, and those positive activities to really get you something that you enjoy, and you add them back into your routine at a pace that you are happy with, that you find will be appropriate and suitable for you. And keep doing this over weeks, keep doing this over months. You will start to feel better. For a lot of people, it takes between 6 to 8 weeks. It could take longer. Like I said, it depends on your experience. For me, it only took 2 weeks because I had managed to not let go of too many positive activities. I still had my workouts. I still had my healthy eating. Okay, but I did take 2 weeks off work. I needed the break. But this is the process. Behavioral activation, cognitive behavioral therapy. This is how, on a daily basis, I tell clients how to bring themselves out of depression. Hopefully this video was useful. If it was, please like it and share it with someone else who might need it. Just by liking the video, YouTube will say this video must be good and they'll share it with more people. The more people that see this, the more beneficial it will be. So you're doing good work. So I appreciate you. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'm going to be focusing a lot on mental health and also finding direction and just gaining control of your life. If you feel like there's a next level that you should be getting to, if you feel like where you're at, you're lost, you're stuck, you're unsure, and you need certainty, this is what I'm here for. We need real people who are helping us and giving us advice on all the different areas of life. I feel like I've made my life incredible for me. I have a great balance. I have great relationships. I'm happy. So hopefully I can do that for you. Subscribe to the channel, share it with other people. I think that's about it.
But before you leave, make sure you like the video, subscribe to my channel. In the description, got all my social media. Follow me, like me, add me. Check out my blog if you prefer reading stuff. Check out some of my other videos because I know they will help you. Share them with other people because I know they will help them. If you want to work with me, just have a chat or ask a question, leave a comment or send me a message. I'll always respond. And except for that, that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one.